Happy Majority Rule Day 2021. My name is Shelly and welcome to the Shelly Show where we prosper together. Ever wonder why Majority Rule Day is a holiday in our books? Well, let me take you on a trip down memory lane.
Welcome to the Shelly Show. Welcome to the Shelly Show.
The Bahamas of 100 years ago is not the same of the one of today that you and I know and love. Back in those days, blacks and whites never mixed. The Bahamas was very colonialized and black people accepted the status quo. There were hotels, restaurants, and theaters that black people were not allowed as guests. There were schools where black children could not attend. And imagine not being allowed to sit in the same pew as a white person. In church. So to understand and truly appreciate Majority Rule Day, you need to know about a series of events that led up to this day. The year is 1942 and workers are hard at work constructing a satellite airfield in western New Providence. Guess what? Even when blacks and whites did the same work, blacks were paid less. And you know, as black people, we weren't going to take that. If we work just as hard as the white man, we want the same pay. So there goes the Burma Road Riot on the same site of the modern-day Lyndon International Airport. It was at this spot where workers fought for equal pay for equal work, no matter their skin color. Historians believe that this marked the beginning of politics in the Bahamas.
Welcome to 1949, where Mr. Rufus Ingram just lost his seat in the general election.
Just like you were saying, man, if we as women could have voted, you wouldn't lose your seat. This country gotta change. This country needs to change. You know what I could do? I could call Mabel. Yeah. I could call Mabel. We could work this out. Petitions were signed by over 3,000 Bahamian women, and with the help of the Progressive Liberal Party, women were allowed to vote in the general election of 1962. Speaking of the PLP, they were formed because some people in government wanted things to change. They were tired of the rich white Bahamians, also known as the Bay Street Boys, who used to think they run things. Well, that's because they did. They controlled how the country was run because they had the money, therefore had the power to do so. In 1953, the Progressive Liberal Party was the first political party to be formed in the Bahamas, since the Bay Street Boys were not. The party was formed by Henry M. Taylor, William Cartwright, and Cyril Stevenson. However, it wasn't until this young, intelligent, British-trained lawyer returned back home that very same year that the party really took off, Lyndon Oscar Pinley. Oh, and the Bay Street Boys later formed the United Bahamian Party to fight against the PLP. Here we are in November 1957, where taxi drivers are infuriated because once again, the Bay Street Boys thought they were running things. What happened at that time was that the meter taxi cab threatened to monopolize that could have put local taxi drivers out of a job. They were enraged and got so angry that they blocked the airport roads, forcing airlines to cancel their flights to Nassau's shining, brand new international airport, which was literally just opened in that same November. So here we are, 2 months later in January 1958. The taxi drivers' energy caught on, which brought all workers, those who were in union or not, to a 16-day vacation that you know as a general strike. So, you know how we have Black Friday, where items are discounted at a price in stores? Well, ever heard of Black Tuesday? In 1965, the Bay Street Boys, who at this point had formed the UBP and were really running things, were not being fair. They rejected input from the PLP, and the leader of the PLP at that time, Sir Lyndon Pinley, I don't know what came over him, but he grabbed that mace, that 165-year-old mace that symbolized the authority of the Speaker of the House, and he said, "This is a symbol of authority, and authority on this island belongs to the people. The people are outside." And he threw it out the window. And then Sir Milo Butler came and he threw out the hourglass because he wanted to speak longer. And from that day on, April 27, 1965, it was known as Black Tuesday. Every event from the Burma Road Riot to Black Tuesday has led to this major event, Majority Rule Day, on January 10, 1967. The Burma Road Riot demonstrated the strength of Black Bahamians when faced with injustice.
Women's suffrage showed the resilience and determination of the Bahamian woman.
Formation of the PLP proved that Bahamians were willing to do whatever was necessary to effect change. The general strike showed the unity of Bahamian people and their readiness to stand together. After years of repression, social injustice, inequality, and being under the feet of the rich whites, the PLP in the general election of 1967 was tied 18 seats to the UBP until two independents decided to join the PLP. Their names were Randall Fox and Alvin Brennan. And then the election was in the favor of the PLP. Finally, power was now in the hands of the Black people, the majority. Each year, January 10th, we pause to remember such a monumental time in Bahamian history. Now that you know of such great significance, what does Majority Rule Day mean to you? Let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new or your memory was refreshed. And to join the Pine Fam, all you gotta do is subscribe down below and click the notification bell so you can be notified of when I post a video. And if you're Bahamian Proud, leave a Bahamian flag in the comments and share this video with everyone you know, your friend, your child, anybody that needs to know of our history. I'll see you next time on The Shelly Show. Peace and pineapple.